The tariff slowdown has begun. Bookings of container shipments from China to the U.S. are down nearly 50% compared to a year ago, according to shipment tracker Vizion. In tonight's In Depth, CBS's Carter Evans goes to the country's busiest port.
As tariffs on foreign imports begin to take effect, there has been rumors circulating online that ports have been seeing fewer cargo vessels, and the Port of Seattle is turning into a ghost town. Jessica Janner with our Verified team explains if there's any truth to those claims.
Starting today, all cargo leaving China and heading to the U.S. will now carry a 30% tariff, which is a steep drop from that 145% tariffs that were in place for the past 6 weeks.
Port authorities are bracing for a major impact. According to Port of Seattle Commissioner Ryan Calkins, there could be a 40% drop in vessels and container traffic the next few weeks.
The tariff slowdown is no longer on the horizon, it's here. According to the logistics platform Vision, bookings for container shipments from China to the United States have plummeted nearly 50% compared to the same time last year. And starting today, every container departing Chinese ports for the US will be subject to a 30% tariff, a sharp drop from the staggering 145% levies that had been in place for 6 weeks. At the nation's busiest port, CBS's Carter Evans reports on a situation unfolding in real time. While tariffs begin to shape the movement of global commerce, whispers of empty docks and ghost town terminals are flooding social media. But are they true? Port of Seattle Commissioner Ryan Calkins confirms a grim outlook. Container traffic could fall by as much as 40% in the coming weeks. Even as terminals remain active for now, officials are bracing for a serious slowdown. Gene Soroka, executive director of the Port of Los Angeles, says the Northwest Seaport Alliance expects just 15 more cargo ships to arrive between Seattle and Tacoma this week, 12 of them from China. But behind those numbers lies a broader, darker trend. It began with minor delays, missing boxes here, a postponed arrival there. But quickly, silence took over U.S. ports from coast to coast. From Los Angeles to New Jersey, Savannah to Seattle, the arteries of American trade are seizing up. Containers are stalled, truckers are losing work, retailers are on edge. Experts are already calling it the worst shipping crisis since the COVID-19 pandemic. This isn't just a slowdown, it's a collapse. The Port of Los Angeles is reporting a 35% drop in incoming shipments. Long Beach isn't far behind. Ships are skipping port calls altogether. Importers are canceling orders. Empty berths sit idle while thousands of containers stack up, gathering dust. Over 400,000 containers expected this month have been delayed or canceled. Blank sailings, rerouted shipments, and global confusion, all triggered by sweeping tariff hikes and the uncertainty they've caused. Gene Soroka put it plainly, this is an unprecedented disruption. It started as a supply issue. Now it's a demand issue. No one wants to pay sky-high tariffs to enter a chaotic market. The result? Ships are staying away, and the ones that do arrive bring cargo that simply gets stuck due to misaligned chassis, backed up rail terminals, and a shortage of drivers. Truckers are among the hardest hit. Across the country, independent operators report a collapse in freight availability. In Southern California and beyond, some truckers have seen their workloads fall from 50 containers a week to just 10. Haul rates have dipped below profitability. One dispatcher called it a freight famine. Navid Gill, who runs a Northern California trucking fleet, says his business is moving 60% less cargo than it was 2 months ago. His drivers are struggling, bills keep coming in, paychecks don't. But the problem doesn't stop at the ports. Inland logistics hubs, Dallas, Chicago, Kansas City, are crumbling under inconsistent volume. Some yards sit empty, others are overflowing. Rail cars are backed up, containers marooned. At one Kansas City terminal, over 2,000 containers have gone unclaimed for more than a week. Many contain time-sensitive cargo, medical supplies, electronics, perishables. Retailers are now sounding the alarm. National giants like Walmart, Target, and Home Depot had prepared with early stockpiles, but those supplies were only meant to last through spring. Now, as imports dwindle, a full-blown drought is looming. The National Retail Federation has already revised its outlook, projecting a 20% drop in import volumes across the board. Some sectors, clothing, toys, could face even steeper declines. The outcome? Empty shelves, rising prices, and added burdens on consumers. It's not just the lack of goods, it's the cost of doing business. Import duties, storage fees, and delay penalties are mounting. For small retailers, the math no longer works. Across California, Texas, and Florida, bankruptcy filings are rising fast. In Savannah, a family-owned furniture importer had to cancel all orders from China. "We can't survive this," the owner said. "We're finished." And what is Washington doing? Very little. While former President Trump continues to defend the tariffs as a win for American trade, his own advisors are warning that the supply chain is unraveling. Economists are pointing to a direct link between tariffs and consumer inflation, particularly on goods stuck at ports or subject to soaring import costs. More than 400,000 containers were canceled in a single month on the West Coast. A blow not just to importers, but to the thousands of dock workers, truckers, warehouse staff, and mechanics who rely on steady volume. The ILWU, the union representing longshore workers, has issued warnings of potential layoffs. Less cargo means fewer shifts, less pay, more hardship. The North American Punjabi Trucking Association, which represents thousands of independent port drivers, put it bluntly: "Our members are at the brink. If things don't change, we're staring down mass bankruptcies in 60 days. And still there's no unified plan. Everyone's pointing fingers. Trump blames China. China blames Trump. Democrats target tariffs. Republicans target regulation. Meanwhile, the ports crumble, the freight doesn't move, and the shelves stay bare. Worse yet, crime is surging. As containers sit unattended, organized theft is on the rise. Los Angeles and New Jersey report a 40% spike in container theft. Electronics, cosmetics, and other high-value cargo are disappearing. Some companies are turning to private security, others are simply giving up. Now, amid the chaos, a new curveball has emerged. A 90-day pause on tariff increases. A temporary truce between the US and China. On paper, it looks like a breather. In reality, it could unleash chaos. Importers are rushing to flood the ports before the window closes. The result? A whiplash effect. Empty docks last week could be overwhelmed by next week. Terminals are unprepared, staff is limited, equipment is out of place, truckers are broke. If hundreds of ships arrive all at once, the system could fracture entirely, and the signs are already here. Freight forwarders are racing to book space. Chinese exporters are loading ships at record speed. Up to 1,000 vessels are preparing to deliver to North America over the next 6 weeks, marking the largest import surge since the pandemic. If the infrastructure can't handle the load, we're not just looking at shipping delays, we're looking at store closures, bankruptcies, layoffs, inflation, and the collapse of regional logistics. All preventable if leadership would act, because behind every container is more than just cargo. It's a paycheck, a hospital shipment, a supply for construction, and when those containers are lost to chaos, everything built upon them begins to fall apart. This is the real cost of policy made without foresight, and if it continues, the economic fallout won't just be severe, it will be historic.